this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden. The Infinite Tsukuyomi filler arc is in full swing as Tsunade continues to live in her own little happy dream world, reading the story of Jiraiya's ninja scrolls. This week's episode was outright ridiculous, and I was almost ready to get really mad at it because you have a lot of weird scenes which frankly make no sense. Pre-time skip Naruto fighting against Hidan, Nagato fighting against Choji, and Choji somehow holding his own. It's when you actually realize that this was a story that was written by Jiraiya that you can kind of have a little fun with this episode. Despite that, not that much really happened in this episode. Basically just a lot of ridiculous fighting, which doesn't really go nowhere. Basically the story is, all of the Akatsuki members are trying to kidnap all of the higher-ups and captains from Konoha Village because, I don't know, evil plans. We also have all of the young ninja, the group of 12 who are trying to find their masters and continuously run into all of these big Akatsuki members, which of course results in a lot of ninja action. Naruto vs. Hidan was very interesting because at the end of last week's episode it almost seemed like Naruto was actually caught in the curse, and that's because he actually did take some of his blood. I guess this was some sort of secret ninja technique where Naruto could make himself bleed, or maybe it's because he was actually a shadow clone that Hidan's ability was not fully successful, but Naruto ends up getting the best of him, taking him out with an Uzumaki barrage. We also get to see the return of those weird tentacles which are coming out of the ground, and I theorize that they belong to Kakuzu, and they do. Apparently he's just hanging out underground and stealing all of these people and kidnapping them for their own evil purposes so that they can make lots and lots of money. The other big battle of this episode is between Ino Shikacho and Jiraiya's disciples, Konan, Yahiko, and Nagato. Getting to see these guys together in this form is very interesting and honestly kind of refreshing, if only to see Yahiko do all of those crazy Jiraiya poses as they're hanging out on this giant frog made out of paper. The only thing is, it's just really hard to believe that these characters could even stand a chance against these guys, but again, this is a story that was written by Jiraiya. In fact, there is one scene which I did feel was the funniest, when they actually mention Jiraiya for the first time. All they have to say about him are really good things, that he's really popular, super attractive, and everybody wants Jiraiya to be their master. It's when they cut away to Tsunade, who's actually reading the book, that it is actually a really funny reaction that he would be very full of himself. At the very end of the episode, Ino Shikacho discovers this abandoned village with no one in it except for these two kids who are going back to their house because the younger kid is trying to get his teddy bear back. And this is where Yahiko, Konan, and Nagato are hanging out, and when they actually arrive in there to try and question those kids, Nagato starts freaking the hell out because he starts having all of these flashbacks about these ninja which came into his home and ended up killing his parents, which is what caused him to activate his Rinnegan for the first time. He just starts screaming and flipping his lid off, which causes all of this ridiculous destruction, and they manage to make a quick escape, ending this week's episode. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden? It's okay. This episode to me was basically just another collective meh. Just really didn't get a lot out of it. I will say it is still interesting getting to see a lot of battles that we never had an opportunity to see and a lot of crazy what-if scenarios. But it's just really hard to accept that these pre-time skip characters are even going to possibly hold their own against the higher-up members of Akatsuki. I just don't see it happening at all, especially against Hidan and Kakuzu, who straight out should have just slaughtered these kids. It should have been instantaneous for them. But again, that's the whole point, because this is all a story that's being told by Jiraiya, which is being bred by Tsunade, who is currently stuck in a dream world. If you can accept that, you can like this episode. The animation and the artwork was okay, as has been the case for many of these filler episodes, especially the ones that are in the Infinite Tsukuyomi arc. I'd say the biggest theme from this episode, again, is something that's been hammered into our heads since the very beginning of the Naruto series, which is not to abandon your comrades. That's something that Naruto keeps bringing up in this episode when they actually end up running into Tenten, Neji, and Rock Lee. Basically, just more of the same. So yeah, this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden isn't exactly moving the plot forward, but if you do like these characters, whether they be the younger versions of some of the more popular characters from the series, or the evil Akatsuki villains, then check out this episode. You might see something you like. Otherwise, it's just another average filler episode of Naruto, so I'm going to give this episode a 3 out of 5. Check it out or skip it, it's really your own choice. Let's just get excited because it's only a matter of time before we get back to the canon material, and my god do I hope it looks good. I know it will because I know they're saving their best animation teams for those episodes, so it really should be like a sight to behold. What I will say is these episodes right here are just okay at best. Skip them or watch them, it's really up to you. But before you guys leave today, I would love to hear your thoughts about this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden. Did you have a favorite moment, a favorite character who showed up? What did you think of the battles between the pre-time skips characters and the Akatsuki members? Do you have a favorite member of Akatsuki who you think will show up in this filler arc? What's going to happen in the rest of Tsunade's story? Let's find out next week. Please tell me your theories and comments and what you hope to see from the rest of Naruto Shippuden. Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!